Secretly recorded from deep inside the bowels of a decommissioned missile silo, we bring you the man, one single man who wants to bring light to the darkness and dark to the lightness. Although he's not always right, he is always certain. So now, with security protocols in place, the protesters have been forced back behind the barricades and the blast doors are now sealed. Without further delay, let me introduce you to the host of HuttCast, Mr. Tim Huttner.
Thank you, Sergeant-at-Arms. You can now take your post. The views and opinions expressed in this program are solely those of the individual and participants. These views and opinions expressed do not represent those of the host or the show. The opinions in this broadcast are not to replace your legal, medical, or spiritual professionals. Welcome to HuttCast 625, 2023. It's a Sunday. Happy Sunday. Well, kind of a bittersweet Sunday. Two things on my mind today. Funeral for a friend. Kind of a tough thing this weekend. And the red flag laws. As you guys know, I'm a big Second Amendmenter. And I got some thought on that for you. Stay tuned. HuttCast will be right back. The current healthcare system is not meeting the needs of real people. People are demanding better care, better options, and want results. So Gareth Care has launched and is advocating for those in the U.S. and internationally, as people are realizing the controlled system has not been there for them. If you want your own independent advocate that is not controlled by big corporations, call or text and enroll today to get your advocate for your needs, serving all ages. For any healthcare need you might have, you matter. Here's how you get started. www.garethcare.com. GRAITHCARE.com. Call Gareth Care Direct 1-469-864-7149. Call or text a question to Healthcare Sucks and get an advocate with Gareth Care 1-469-864-7149. Mention HuttCast and you'll get a 10% discount on your advocacy bundle. And the staff at Gareth Care will take care of you. Remember to mention HuttCast, get that extra 10% off your first bundle of time. And this is all brought to you from Gareth Care. Hey guys, welcome to HuttCast. In my intro, kind of a bittersweet conversation. Today is the day after a funeral for a friend came into sight. Well, I don't even know how to pronounce. Came into sight. Came up to. It's something you had to do. I had to do a eulogy. I didn't have to. I wanted to do a eulogy, and it was kind of a different taste of eulogy, just because of where it was and who it was for, and what the religious organization behind it was. My eulogy was for a friend that I've known for decades. Heck of a guy. Not a mean-spirited guy in the least bit, just a guy who was just a very good guy. And, of course, I'm the guy who is the music friend. I'm the guy who's the hot rod friend. I'm the guy. I'm that guy to him, and he was that to me. So we got to do a eulogy, and in an organization like the Mormon organization, which is a very, very stout group. It's a rich in culture. It's a very conservative. It's a whole different thing that I'm used to. Being from the Catholicism myself, you see these people who they're very intrunctuated in what they believe, and they're very solid. They're very collective. They're very group. Very, very nice situation. So I was asked to do this. At first, I was very apprehensive, didn't want to, don't think I could get through it. Didn't care if I looked like a fool, if I cried in front of everybody. That wasn't the thing, but I'd want to be able to get through it, to present myself and the feelings in which me and the deceased have had, to come through with a well, how would I say it? Hitting a 10-penny nail with a sledgehammer to make sure it's driven home, type of deal. So I thought, okay, what would HuttCast do in a situation like this? That he wants to maintain his composure, get the point across, honor the person, and it was an honor, who we did this for, and just get out there and knock this out of the park. Well, at least that was the plan. So HuttCast, i.e. me, thought up this way to do this. And I thought, I've got tens and thousands of dollars worth of audio equipment. Why don't I just do a hybrid eulogy? Well, I don't know if anybody's done one. So let's be the first. Step one. Okay, what is the content? What is the message? How are we going to do a theme? Are we going to do a chronological? You know, I did a lot of research on eulogies. Never quite in front of a group like this, so I had to do some research in the Mormon culture. Ask people, talk to fellow brothers, and there's a hierarchy that you just got to kind of go into. These people who are in charge of these groups are just phenomenal people. They've got their stuff wired. It's wired pretty darn good. They don't know how to handle a Catholic Christian type of, and I don't push the Bible thing at all. I'm not that guy. I believe in it, but I'm just not the constant push, get them in. That's not me. And I set up a program where it was going to be this hybrid thing. It was going to be a hybrid on a hybrid. I'm going to do a pre-recorded second half measure with this individual's favorite songs, a voiceover, we call them in the book. So we did a voiceover with these guys, and I did his favorite song at the tail end of this presentation. This presentation was 7 minutes, 30 seconds long, 7:40 if you listen to the last so many seconds for the goodbye. But before that, now you have to understand the Mormon culture, they sit at a pew, you sit in the pews, they have the podium, and that's what you do. That's it. There's no interaction, that's how their system works. But I was going to do a little different thing. I introduced myself, not at the podium, but as an audience. I sat with the audience. I got them lined up, and I says, okay, is it my turn now? The other guy went, it's my turn. And we light this candle, and we say, hello, I'm Tim Huttner, and I am this person's friend. Well, the biggest thing I wanted to get across to these people was, we're not here for Bob. We're here for each other. We are here for us as a group to mourn the loss or to celebrate the life of however you want to look at that. To sit back and say, yeah, this is what we're going to do. I proceeded to tell the people, the congregation, that this is how it's going to go today. Trying to fully respect the Mormon culture, keep an eye on the pastor to make sure he's not giving me that look. Not once have I get that look. I get everybody lined up, and I says, okay, today we're going to do this a little different. I'm going to walk around with this microphone, and if you're going to think of one person, this person that we're celebrating in a word, what would that word be? And I started with a couple of ringers just to make sure that we loosen up the group. A ringer is a person in the audience that starts things out, kind of like at an auction. A ringer pushes the money up, but in this group, we're going to do this for the guy. He picks the word. Now, mind you, this is the word they're going to use forever. This is the rest of the people are going to hear this word. It's theirs forever, and you're going to hear this, and you cannot unhear this. So if you pick the wrong word, a lot of pressure here, but not quite. Now I would take the audience and I sit back and I say, okay, we're going to do this. We get one started, we get another, and lo and behold, these guys took to it like a moth to flame. They were astonished. They've never been in a situation where they are the stars of it. Their words meant everything. I've heard excellent guy. I've heard, just all the positive things you can say. No one really denied it. It was the right feel. It was the right feel. Not turning this into a sideshow, not turning this into a Las Vegas gig. but to get them into a mode of, hey, remembrance, love, that itself was worth it. That completely made everything worth it. My weeks and months of research, my setup in the studio, making sure they could do it, just making everything the way it should be, the feel. Then we go to step 2. Well, I knew HuttCast couldn't make a eulogy complete without, having a mop under each eye. So I thought, I'm going to record this, which was very difficult. I'm in front of 70 countries. I've got 45 million followers in multiple podcast formats in several countries. But this by far was the hardest thing I had to do. Not because it was live. Not because I was the guy up front and they're all watching it. That don't bother me. I don't have an issue with that. Because of the topic. The topic and where it was being played. But in typical HuttCast fashion, here's the gig. I ain't going to go in there and just do the life's good, we're just going to say the words and sit down and, oh, no. We're going to amp this up. We're going to spin this up to 10,000 RPM because that's what this guy was. Now, I didn't know this, because I didn't know I'm Catholic, not Mormon. All music has to be appropriated by the pulpit, the guys in charge. Well, during the first half of my presentation, where I talked to the audience through the microphone to get this accurate, to make sure I don't miss nothing, to be as precise as possible, I'm playing Sounds of Silence. The Simon and Garfunkel version of 1960, I don't even know. It's okay. But see, I'm not okay with okay. I wanted the 10,000 RPM okay. So we did the version by Disturbed. If you haven't heard the Disturbed version, you might want to go look it up because it's pretty awesome. Same words, Australian group. This guy runs 7 octaves in this song, and it's edgy. It's today. It's now. It's nothing vain or vulgar or nothing like that, but it's cool. I mean, it's next level stuff. And that's what my first half of the eulogy was about. In the spoken part, recorded. Of course, my first part was going around working the group and saying, hey, who was he to you in that one word? But this is like, say, number 2 out of 3 events. We play Disturbed. I say my spiel. All you could see was tears and smiles. The whole congregation was smiling and crying at the same time. I was trying to fight back some waterworks myself. Because even though you made it, you still listen to it, you're going like, ooh, that's a tough one to listen to. So we do that. Yeah. Smiles and cries. After that, I wanted a segment just for Bob. And the individual was a big music fan. And you heard testimony from 2 other eulogy givers, the pastor, all the people involved. And none of them once had said his love of music. So the theme was spot on. They loved that. They knew the hot rod stuff, and they knew that he loved his car. And during your story, you tell the stories about this individual and their car, and then what you did and how you did it for years. But the ending theme was the creme de la creme. So this person absolutely loves Kiss. Favorite all-time of all time. Never had an issue with what type of music. He kind of liked it all. And it was a win-win deal. His favorite song, Beth, by Kiss. All right, now guys, think of this. You're going to have the Mormon church, and we're playing Disturbed, and we're playing Kiss in the Mormon church, in the chapel, when they're very contemporary. Well, pastor's not giving me that look. Okay, we're rolling with this. Wow. What a great situation. I'm still getting reports from the congregation about how no one's ever been to a eulogy like this. With the laughing, the crying, the loving, the music, It was quite an event. So I guess today, HuttCast is kind of reflecting on the whole thing, the whole situation. And mind you, I have a lot of friends in this room. And I have a lot of friends in this room because of this guy. So it was kind of like a friend get-together, but still there's a lot of very, very conservative people. And even they were like, wow. So if you're going to break the mold, people, break it in such a way that you set the bar. And I'm rather proud of this eulogy because it was what this guy would have wanted and he would have done. Never mind it was in the Church of the Latter-day Saints of the Mormons. Never mind that it was a Catholic giving it. Never mind it was Disturbed playing Sounds of Silence by a group in the 60s. Never mind you put Kiss as his favorite audio. I mean, the night before we're setting up audio in this church and we're saying, okay, it's got to do this, this, and this. And when I speak, I want to make sure that they, without a doubt, hear everything. So we brought in special microphones. We brought in a special mixing board. Mark, one of my other friends, has said, hey, this is what we're going to do. Let's do this. Great to have that support. He was also friends with the deceased, and it turned out really good. So if you're going to break that mold, don't break it halfway. Be the guy. Be the person that person would want you to, the deceased, would want you to be in that moment of, okay, this is like really different. On the backside of this, we're getting constant conversations from the people who were in the church, the congregation itself. They're talking to people, we're talking to people, and the only thing I've been getting so far is, holy cow, I've never been to something that cool. Kind of makes you feel good. The best, I mean, and again, it's the best of the worst. You're there for a bad reason, but you're there for the best reason. And they're saying, I've never been to a funeral that was this good. So is that what we get by intermixing theme with chronological, with story, with music, with, I don't know, kind of like one of my first couple, kind of like my first eulogy to this level. You always go up and say something, but you never go up and produce something. You never go out and do in a HuttCast way of, I'm going to do this. I'm going to use my equipment. I'm going to use my talent. I'm going to make sure that this individual is never forgotten, and it'll be the best eulogy funeral you'll have ever been at. Yep, that's what I did this weekend. So kind of a lot of pressure off my shoulders right now, and I'm just kind of gelling out, hanging out, doing some HuttCast so I can talk to my wonderful group of listeners out there in 70 countries again. I appreciate it. You are why I do this. But it's 17 minutes into this first segment. I'm going to bounce to the next one here. We're going to have some conversation about this red flag thing here in the state of Minnesota, California. Because I don't know what they're thinking. But holy cow, here we go. HuttCast, stand by. We'll be right back. Buying a gun is no ordinary purchase. Whether you're a hunter, competitive shooter, or self-defense is your priority, there are many kinds of guns and many kinds of training programs. You use your brain all the time. You will rarely need to use your gun. Before you find yourself in a situation where you need to make a critical decision, make sure your training is the best you can get. It could be the difference between life and death, or freedom or detention. For the best quality training, check out permit2carry.us. If you live in Minnesota or Wisconsin or even Florida, give Gene German a call, 612-388-2403. That's permit2carry.us. Or call Gene German at 612-388-2403. Thanks for tuning back in to HuttCast. All right. You guys know I'm a strong 2A'er. You know that I'm that guy. So here's where we're starting out now. These new gun restrictions, new gun laws, the red flag laws, the laws that they're trying to get through But we have 2 new ones on the books, and in a 33 to 34, all Democrats passed it. All Republicans were against it. And the bill was introduced or passed last Friday night, long debate, sent to the House for final vote. It was just, this thing is kind of this is a cluster bomb of stuff. And I don't know how to even begin how cluster this is. We're going to call it cluster stuff. I think you know the adjective I would use, but we have to use this one to keep it kind of, G-ish rated. All right. Ron Latz, a DFL, St. Louis Park, chairs the Public Safety Committee for this bill. Now, Senator Latz might have his reasons, but Senator Latz is not paying attention to, we pretty much already have these laws. Now, if you think back, this guy in Buffalo, Minnesota, this Ulrich, went into the Alina Health Clinic. It's on my list of shows. Tune in, listen to what the guy's all about. He's kind of a loose nut. Not kind of, he is a loose nut. He goes in and shoots people. They push on this in Minnesota so that Waltz can sign these in and, hey, we're going to have more gun control. And during some of these interviews I'm watching, there's this other advocate for this. It's not a Latz guy, it's someone else. And the reporter says, Mr. Interviewee, do you believe that these new laws will stop these gun violence? And the guy out and out said, I don't believe any law is going to stop someone from getting a gun illegally. But here's the caveat in this, people. This Ulrich did obtain this weapon legally. It was not an illegal weapon. His background check was in such a way that they couldn't deny him for something that he should have been denied for. So I can see that they don't call it a red flag gun law. Let's call this a gun loop. It's kind of like the guys selling personal guns at a gun store, which also is illegal. Wait, excuse me, a gun show. So these cats run around from show to show to show, do not possess a license like most of us, do not go through the procedure like most of us, or excuse me, all of us, obtain an FFL, and then go to these shows and do their thing. These guys skirt the law. Now, you Second Amendment guys out there who are jumping up and down right now, calm down. This is not going to be one of those the gun guys beating up on gun guys thing. It is not. It is simply pointing out the fact that if you're going to be in the gun business, you have to do the gun legislation stuff. The FFL, the fingerprints, the extensive background, just short of carrying a, I don't know, like a federal government type of okie dokie to do top secret stuff. I don't know. It's still feds. You're still vetted. So this Ulrich dude couldn't get denied is the problem. So they go and figure out a plan here. Hey, this is our Achilles heel. We can leverage this to put more gun control on. And I see their point. I can only imagine how many other things were at risk here with this guy's health mentally. They wouldn't give him meds. It was, just listen to the story. It's kind of stupid is what it is. This guy was mental. He had issues, and he had mental issues that needed to be solved. He solved them with a gun. Some poor innocent person paid for it. Yeah, that's not the right gig. It's what it is. And that's no different than if you go downtown on a Friday, Saturday night, or you track. Gunshot track, or shot track is what it is. It's a program in Minneapolis that wherever there's a gun sound, it triangulates the position and puts the activity. Shot track, that's what it is, shot track. And then all of a sudden you have all these gangbangers beating people up and shooting people, and their kids shooting people. Same kids who started out stealing cars. So back to story. Ulrich gets this gun, does these people in. This person shoots everybody, scares everybody. There's video of it. Gets sentenced yesterday. Oh, I'm sorry. Saturday, we got told Friday he was sentenced. And now Ron Latz and all these guys were jumping up and down because they've got something now that they've done that no one else has done. And I don't care how many laws, gun guys, pro and against, listen closely. I don't care how many laws you have. You will not stop them from doing this. This is a mental health issue. Been saying it for years. This is not a gun issue. But now they can say, oh, I feel better. They feel better that they have this out there. Well, the Second Amendment guys, the Ben Doors of the world, which he's kind of a dork, get to jump up and down now. Now they have a springboard in which they can say stuff on. And I'm not a Ben Door lover, or more so a hater than lover, but he's kind of just he's a shock jock, and I don't like those guys. Especially for our purpose. It's a big mouth. Self-proclaimed gun advocacy guy. I don't know. If you paid attention to what's going on out there in the world, and you're seeing all this stuff going on, you can't help but figure, what are these guys doing? What are you thinking? They ain't going to do nothing. And the second one of these laws is gives more freedom to the people who can call it in to take the guns away from the people that are more likely to hurt themselves or hurt somebody else. Well, what is this, precog? How are you going to figure that out? You got some special magic ball that you're going to go, hey, I think he's going to shoot somebody. I don't know about you, but all the gangbangers in South Minneapolis and Minneapolis who are shooting somebody, I feel they're going to do this, so go take their guns away. Hey, I feel threatened. Now I can call this in. Hey, he's got guns, I'm going to take it away. We're going to call in every person who has a gun that's under the age of 18 and say, I feel they're going to do this. What are the courts going to do then? What are the law going to do? Let's see your law in action now. Let's weaponize the law. And what will they do when they do get him? Oh, well, it's a catch and release program. Yeah, I know he's got a gun. It's just a whatever gross misdemeanor because he has one under the age. I think the last time they called it was a felony, not a gross misdemeanor. Although very seriously, either one. But on the catch and release program, what are the big deal? I'll go get another gun, which he'll obtain illegally, not legally, and go and do his bidding. So red flag laws, easier way to rat on somebody who's got a potential method for going up and shooting people up, which I get. I see that. I don't dispute if someone's in a tough way. They can take their guns up to 6 months or a year. It takes 30 days instead of 7 days to get your permit to acquire back. I mean, all of these things is like, you still aren't getting it. But I do understand the fact that you got to try something. But in typical government fashion, they're trying the wrong something. These people have no respect for life. They have no conscience of who they pop around in or pop a cap in. They don't get it because they're in a cap in them. It's odd. I was at a graduation this season, and somebody told me they worked at HCMC, which is a hospital in Minneapolis. Now, they're the guys, level 1 trauma center, airlift, they got everything. But because they're level 1 and they're sponsored by the state of Minnesota, they have to be open and they're called a level 1 transform or situation. They're it's big time politics is what it is. He said, on an average night, because there's so many rounds flying around, you'll see 1, maybe 2 people come in with a bullet in their forehead. Now I had to like look at him and go, what does that mean, in their forehead? He said literally, they come in like a 9mm. It's usually 9mm, he said. They put this, they get popped in the head, bounce, ricochet, whatever, and it's not strong enough to go through the skull, but it stops at the front of the skull. So they come in with this bullet sticking out of their forehead. The doctors look and go, oh, literally grab a pliers, pull the bullet out of his head, juice it up so it doesn't get infected, I don't know, whatever. Put a couple stitches in there and kick him loose. Holy crap. Think about that. Dude walks in, got a bullet in his head. They're usually the gangbanger type. Grab the pliers, pull it. Why do you bother going in if you're going to do that? If it's halfway in your brain, I don't know about you, but if I get knocked in the head with a 230 grain something, I don't know if I'd be thinking too straight. I mean, think about getting whacked in the head at that speed. Even if it didn't penetrate your skull. And one of the reasons why, and this is what this individual told me, it is not what I know, it's what he told me. He said because the foreheads of the skulls on these individuals are so much more thicker than a Caucasian is why they don't penetrate. That's kind of a thing. I didn't quite expect that. Not that I go around measuring foreheads of people, especially from the inside out. It was because of their race. Not their race, their ethnicity is why they have a thicker forehead and skull. I never knew that. But this guy would know because he spent a lot of time in the ER with these people. So I suppose if a white kid comes in, he's going to be a scrambled egg. But everyone else is going to have pull this out of your head. Yeah, I can't make this stuff up, guys. This is what's really going on. So if you think gun laws are going to stop that, you're on the wrong page. You're not even in the same atmosphere as the rest of us. This is a health issue. This is a chronic health issue that you need to solve way before we get to this point, and which you'll never do. So I wanted to bring that up to you guys again, and it's finally came full circle here in Minna, California, where they want to make all these laws. I just for the life of me can't figure out why we keep following the state that's got the worst living conditions on the planet. For the homeless, for the dude. I can't even put this together. It's just insane. So beware, people. When someone says, we got better gun laws, think of this broadcast. Think of this conversation we're having and just sit back and go, do you really think that's going to work? Matter of fact, confront them. Get in their face. Point them out and say, hey, baloney. You're full of baloney. You've been listening to too much hyperbole on the Democrat channel, or on the Ron Latz channel, or on the Tim Walz channel, or whatever channel you're listening to. It's the wrong deal. Mind you, not saying there's not a problem. There is a problem, but it's not that. All right, enough of that rant. Backing up a little bit here to some of the guys online. Again, thank you for the conversations. There was an individual. Now, this is kind of a different one, so I'm using the Googleizer to translate this. In Dutchland, Deutsch, I don't know, someplace way over there with the big windmills and wooden shoes, those guys, the Dutch. And he wanted to point out that in their country, like many countries out in the Eastern Bloc, they give each family a rifle and some bullets. They say, this is your protection. You keep these. And I've heard this before, but he wanted to make a point of it to tell me that the Dutch are doing this. Wow. Good for you. The government gives you bullets. Now, if you paid attention to some other shows, Ukraine removed their guns from their people. They did that. And now they're asking us for guns. How's that for a catch-22, 3, and 4? Hey, we're going to take your guns away. Oh, you should probably have some. Oh, can I have some guns in the United States? In Ukraine, guys, you know whose guns I'm talking about. I know you've got a two-party system in there. I get it. We've had these conversations. But come on. Let those people who were not thinking like our people here in Minnesota not thinking, they should probably sit back and do some thinking. Because it didn't work, did it? And you guys who are out there defending that country, good for you. May you overchange your government to one that makes a little more sense. All right, that's all I got. HuttCast is going to pull the pin. Happy Sunday. As they say at the racetrack, drive fast, take chances. Kind of a thing for us hot rod guys. Appreciate y'all listening. Appreciate you across the world listening. Thank you. And that's a wrap for HuttCast. HuttCast is, again, a pragmatic approach to seeing things how some people see them. If you like our show, give us a thumbs up on the Facebook site. Again, for HuttCast, thank you again. Have a wonderful evening.